Just under 10 minutes till game time.
Hello and welcome to Canberra, the capital city of Australia. It is the Men's World Championship Asian Volleyball Confederation qualifier, day 3, and this is match number 5 of the tournament. It's Chinese Taipei against New Zealand, both sides looking for win number 1 of the tournament. Chinese Taipei coming off a bye day yesterday, New Zealand suffering 2 3-0 losses. We are in the capital city of Australia, beautiful Canberra, a gateway to so much here in the Australian capital territory. Great wine, great food, terrific outdoorsy culture, and pretty chilly through the winter, so the volleyball's been keeping us warm here in Canberra. Another man keeping everybody warm with his general company and terrific demeanour is Jonathan Fogarty. Jonathan, good morning to you and welcome. It's great to have you always along for the volleyball ride.
Will, thank you so much. Another really interesting match. Two nations that we haven't seen a lot from. So New Zealand versus Chinese Taipei, what cultural delights have they got for us?
Yeah, very much the case. New Zealand, they're the 50th ranked side in the world, but what they maybe lack rather in experience on the court, they make up for in tenacity. And certainly we got a fair bit of that before the warm-ups when they presented the haka to Chinese Taipei. Some great shots of the haka, and well done Chinese Taipei standing up and receiving the traditional war dance before the sporting encounter of New Zealand. As we look at the Chinese Taipei team sheet, Lu Chang, Li Swan, Yan Chenfu, number 9, the younger members of this squad, plenty of height coming from him, 198 centimetres. Wu Song Swan, pretty good early on. Then we flip over, again you can see a pretty young squad. Lin Yi Wei, 20 years old, and Chen, the skipper, 27 years old, plenty of experience from him, and he was outstanding in the opening game. 188 centimetres, but he's got plenty of athleticism and pretty strong at the net. The Chinese Taipei, they are the 33rd ranked side in the world in terms of the world rankings. They did play in World League Group 3. They come up against New Zealand, who don't get a lot of big tournament experience on the volleyball scene. Colin Redpath is the coach. Alani Nicklin, we haven't seen too much from him. Maybe the 21-year-old's got a few tricks up his sleeve today. Benjamin Glue, the captain, 30 years of age. A lot of experience from him, and he is terrific out wide for them, the big lefty. They use him so much. Timmer's pretty solid as well. A lot of height coming from Johan Timmer. As we flip over, Aura Marunga was a real talisman for them, the setter in their second match. They were good against Japan last night, although going down 3-0. Jake Darling has been good when injected at times. And Giles Black, quite an interesting performer for this New Zealand side, number 13. We look forward to seeing what he brings, Jonathan. And for them, it's another opportunity to really work on their combinations and try and find something to take out of this tournament, because so far, 3-0 losses on both occasions.
Absolutely. I'm really fascinated on that haka that we just saw. They did it at the end of the match last night when we saw them play, and I felt that they kind of maybe missed an opportunity. We've seen traditionally in New Zealand's sporting culture, the haka is such a galvanising, activity and a team, lifting, bonding opportunity. So doing it before the match, I wonder if they'll come out a little more up for this one, as you say. So yeah, they've got to find stepping stones. They're here for the 5-team event. They'll obviously play 4 games. This is game number 3, and they haven't been able to really lock away a set yet. They've had some good moments. So let's see if they can start brightly and really galvanise and come together as a team.
And they've been having a huge amount of fun. They've really been enjoying themselves. Colin Redpath on the right of your screen, the coach, and assisted by a man who has coached the team in the senior position, Mark Doyle. Great moustache on him too. We like that here at the ABC qualifier. And Chinese Taipei, they are led by Yu Qingfang, and they weren't great, it must be said, to start in that 3-0 loss against Japan on night number 1. They had yesterday off. I'm sure they would have trained, Jonathan, and just kind of said, well, that was one that we probably expected to lose against Japan. They're the favourites this week, but Chinese Taipei need to come out pretty strongly and get started positively.
Look, I'm not sure anyone would have come out and done heaps better against a really good Japanese lineup. We've talked a bit about them being silver medalists in Group 2 of the World League up against a Group 3 team in Chinese Taipei. So they'll put that down as a hit out. They'll have already chalked this down. Let's be frank, as a match that they absolutely must win. 2 spots out of the 5 to get to the World Championship. So for Chinese Taipei, that this is absolutely a must-win opportunity. So I think the pressure absolutely on Chinese Taipei. I think New Zealand can play with some freedom, as you say, enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and they were good at times last night, no doubt about it. The second set in particular, they really matched it with Japan. And Colin Redpath's been animated, trying to get them together, trying to get them to keep working hard and not dropping their heads, because it can turn pretty quickly, and we've seen it on a few occasions, a run of points against New Zealand. And there's a little bit of an unknown from Chinese Taipei, given we've only seen them once, but I'm sure they will come out firing as we introduce our referees for this morning's match. First referee, Robert Zidlowski from Australia, assisted by Musika Powapith from Thailand. So congratulations to them, and we look forward to their work as always as they officiate this match number 5 on day number 3 of the Men's World Championship ABC qualification tournament. As Jonathan's mentioned, 2 spots are on the line for that tournament in Italy and Bulgaria in September next year. And for Chinese Taipei, this is a must-win game. Not far away from welcoming the teams onto the court here at the AIS Arena in Canberra. And getting us going for Chinese Taipei, Liu Hongji and Liu Hongmin. Yen Chenfu, the number 9, and the number 10, Wu Sung Swan. Welcoming number 18, Shi Suchi and Chen Chen Chen, who in that opening match was terrific for them. The libero this morning will be Li Xiao Swam. Pretty strong Chinese Taipei outfit. Hopefully they come out, they're pretty well organised. Chen 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 led from the front. So there is the starting lineup for Chinese Taipei. And they're welcoming New Zealand. Off with Simon Peterson, Alani Nicklin, Benjamin Glue. Coming in to set will be Jack Redpath. Number 7, Johan Timmer. Daryl Lewis, and then the libero, Thomas Reid. Well, we've spoken about the form, the world number 33 ranked side against New Zealand, the world number 50. Chinese Taipei do go in as favourites, and I think New Zealand would probably concede that. They'll start in bright fashion, we're sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the coach for Chinese Taipei, Yu Qingfang, as you said, he's shown his hand. He's putting his absolute, probably his stellar, his best lineup. This is the way he started the tournament yesterday with this 6 and this libero. So he is not taking any chances early. So it's going to be all systems go. So Chinese Taipei in the red, of course New Zealand on your right of screen in the light blue. Really looking forward to this one. This could be a really fascinating match.
And to get us underway from Chinese Taipei, it is Shi Suiqi. Nice back row attack coming from New Zealand down the pipe from Daryl Lewis. That is the positive start we alluded to.
Daryl was pretty good yesterday. He had some really nice moments outside hitting. He hit a lot of balls off the top of hands and off blocks hitting. Only got roofed once, so he's been reasonably efficient without being spectacular. So it's a solid start.
Serve coming from Johan Timmer, and good answer from Chinese Taipei. Solid work from Yen Chenfu. And, 1 apiece. Here he is, the man, the skipper. Chen. And the service error, handing it back to New Zealand.
One guy we haven't seen a lot of is Peterson, the middle blocker for New Zealand. He's a guy that's due to step up. I'd like to see him get a lot of touches today for the New Zealand block.
Measured attack coming from Wu, the Chinese Taipei, but effective. Saw the block and the space behind and just rolled it over the top. So some clever hitting. See there, only the one man, and Peterson a little bit slow to get to the block. But answers right back. We've called for the involvement from Peterson. Has been quiet to start the tournament. I need plenty more of that.
Thank you. We like that. I think it's a pat on the back from Redpath, the setter, as well. So always nice to get that first one away.
Chinese Taipei. The free ball for New Zealand. And the net touch coming from Chinese Taipei, the second referee. Saying that'll be New Zealand's ball.
Not touch blocker.
So interestingly, the back row attack was called on Glue, but the net touch was the next infringement, so that's interesting. They thought they'd got a roof block, they thought he'd been called for a back row, but the net touch was the offence that happened first, apparently, so it could have gone either way.
Lewis rifling the ace for New Zealand, but we do have an issue. It's coming from the technical bench, and looks like they are out of rotation, New Zealand. That is a real shame.
Not again.
It's happened a few times for those tuning in for the first time in the tournament. You can see Jack Redpath, the setter, leading with the bench, and it will be a point for Chinese Taipei. Good swing coming from Glue. Chinese Taipei make the block stick. Pretty organised stuff from them, and really unfortunate for New Zealand. Great service ace prior is irrelevant. Lewis getting it done from out wide as well. It was nice work from Chen for Chinese Taipei to get it up, but a pretty generous ball for New Zealand to get stuck into.
They look good when they're organised, a good steady free ball pass. I'd rather see that athlete take that ball on his hands rather than get his arms under it to dig it to the setter. I think it creates a faster attack, but you know, quite workmanlike, quite stable for New Zealand in that play.
A big serve coming from Daryl Lewis, and a massive hit coming from Liu for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, you do need to go away, young fella. Redpath being well instructed. And let me tell you, Rob, the first referee from Australia, is sick as a dog with the flu, he tells me, so he is not in any mood for shenanigans today on the stand.
Timmer getting involved for New Zealand. Rolled in from the Chinese Taipei captain. Good block. And get the free ball. New Zealand, couple of solid blocks, but well hit from Chen for Chinese Taipei. And you mentioned first referee Robert Zidlowski calling New Zealand for a word while we watch this solid persistence from Chen.
Or whoever it was, that's trying to influence my decisions. So it happens from now, it's going to be cards.
Oh, there we go, we can pick up the word from the first referee. Good stuff here. And pretty clear.
Unequivocal, I think, is the word. Pull your heads in, boys.
Great swing from Glue out wide.
That's also unequivocal, a nice clean swing from the left-handed captain.
So Simon Peterson, 30 years of age, steps up to serve. Well watched. There was a little bit too much on that one, and Liu Hongmin, the Chinese Taipei, happy to let it sail long. And the lead, 7-6 for Chinese Taipei. Oh, wow. Dodged a bullet there, New Zealand. Some would say beautifully orchestrated. They do get the point. It's level at 7.
Never in doubt. It did hit the athlete from New Zealand, but it had already hit the ground. So a wry grin from everyone involved.
Oh, pretty sweet stuff from Chinese Taipei. Great set coming for Wu. And with a bit of an exclamation, they go to the technical timeout, 8-7 up.
Yeah, Johan Timmer, the 7, really zoned out there. He did not do his job. He was so busy watching where the outside hitter and the quick attack went. You'll see him coming across to position 4 on the left. Not a quick attack. Oh, that's my man. Absolutely nowhere. That was clinical from Chinese Taipei. And that just shows a little subtle gulf in class and experience between the two squads in that one moment.
But New Zealand are in it. And that's where they need to be. Chinese Taipei doing it pretty easily. A couple of errors from New Zealand, certainly in the rotation, which was a shame to see yet again. They had some issues the other night. And, Coach Colin Redpath didn't have the rotation that he wanted and was pleading his case. It wasn't to be. On this occasion, it cost them what would have been a point through the eights. At the service line, sweet cheek for Chinese Taipei. The better heads of hair in the tournament. Nicklin through the middle. We'll get it done for New Zealand, 8-8.
You know, they've made a few skill errors, undoubtedly, and they had some opportunities in New Zealand, but they're absolutely competing at the first start, and they've started brightly. It's can they sustain as Chinese Taipei come out of their kind of early match lethargy that we're seeing.
Oh, well done, Lewis. Clever hitting. Timmer with the set. It's decent enough, and Lewis, big grin on his face as he looks towards the bench of New Zealand.
He is by far and away the most intelligent spiker in the New Zealand squad. That is three-quarter pace at best. It is directed to a really smart part of the court. He was well off the net. I rate that highly. That is an excellent skill under pressure.
That's the serve in. Good opportunity for New Zealand. Chinese Taipei equal to it. It's gone out, but it is. Well, we've got one lines judge saying it was out. Another one initially said it was off the touch. Chen pleading his case. Here, Robert Zilowski saying between himself and his assistant referee, they will make the call.
And he's already interacted with the New Zealand squad about making sure they don't try and influence the decision. Because Chinese Taipei aren't English speaking natively, he doesn't know if they're trying to influence his decision. So I wonder if they'll get the same lecture at some stage.
That's Chen's range. No concerns about the adjudication there. Very authoritative from him. New Zealand, well, they're doing an all right job in defence. They're getting plenty of balls up. The block's been active. Lewis again. Just tips it over. So too does Chen. Oh, Lewis. The eyes lit up there. He's been given plenty of work, and on this occasion, just a little bit off.
Yeah, his timing hasn't been perfect yet in that position, and he's got there way too early. The adrenaline was pumping, and in the end, he ended up well underneath the ball and a little bit behind his head. He's never going to snap it down, unfortunately.
Service error from Chinese Taipei. New Zealand leading 11-10. A decent position if they can get on a bit of a run to start controlling things. Alani Nicklin to serve. That was well watched initially by Shi, and then a good swing from Wu. That's the point. Chinese Taipei, very tricky ball when it just hangs on the net tape like that and rolls over, but beautifully handled. At 11.
That's an engrossing one-on-one battle at the moment with the seventh. Yu Huang Min up against Benjamin Blue. That's about the third or fourth time they've faced off against each other across the net, and certainly the gentleman from Chinese Taipei has got him a couple of times.
Sweet work from Liu. He's getting the better of them out there. He's certainly winning that battle you allude to.
Yeah, he's just showing better composure. But Blue doesn't want to get frustrated. His team are absolutely competing in this first set. He's going to now start looking to wipe off the outside blocker's arm and go down the line, perhaps. Thank you. That'll do.
Yeah, he's really important for them as well as Nick Liu. Through those first two matches, anytime that they were competitive, he was the man getting plenty of swings and finding his range.
Dare I say, he's some sort of cohesive substance that holds this team together. Can't think of the word, though.
Pretty tidy work from Chinese Taipei, exploiting the gaps in New Zealand's defence. Got on a bit of a run themselves. Behind Lewis again, but it's worked out well. The libero for Chinese Taipei, and Lee and the skipper getting caught up and an error in defence.
Yeah, I think if Lewis had his time again, he would have just stayed a bit patient. He's always going to get that ball, so he's got to give his setter a chance to get it in front of him. But again, he dealt with adversity really well. I like the resilience of the guy, and then comes back with a good serve.
Through the middle from Chinese Taipei, Liu Hongji. But Lewis has been good, as you say. The sets haven't been right in his area every occasion, but good strength to be able to find a way to get the ball over. Now with Liu Hongmin. Certainly well-worn path to Lewis. Wherever he is, they're finding him. Maybe time for another option. 13-16 at the technical timeout.
Coach Redpath looking very calm. He's pleased with what he's seen so far, but probably wants his guys to just, as you say, find their shape and composure again. For Yu Qingfeng, the Chinese Taipei coach, well, hard to read his expression. I don't feel like Chinese Taipei have really hit their straps yet. This is their second hit out. This is 3 games in a row, or 3 days in a row for New Zealand. So the challenge for them, we've talked about tournament play and travelling the world and playing a little bit in the commentary. For New Zealand, this is about the point of the tournament. If you haven't got a lot of run in your legs, they could really drop off a cliff here in terms of their fitness and their mental kind of focus. So for Coach Redpath for New Zealand, he wants to make sure his team don't start losing their attention to detail.
Big swing from Timmer. And it's a really important stage of this set for New Zealand. They've got to get it back to level and then try and edge in front themselves, because from here, a side like Chinese Taipei can certainly run away, put themselves in a dominant position in the set. Again, pretty solid from Chinese Taipei, and as you say, they haven't hit top gear, but they're doing enough.
They are. There's not quite the sharpness of that connection, the quick attack, for example, but it is effective, and it is there or thereabouts. So for the New Zealanders, they have to start getting a few more touches. This is going to be a bit harder for them.
Free ball for Chinese Taipei. Good up from Lewis, but can't control it. It was a really nice swing through the middle from Chinese Taipei down the pipe. And that variation will trouble New Zealand. Here, a great swing. Had 3 to beat, but they weren't all that organised, and Liu Hongmin brings about the timeout. Jonathan, for Redpath, as you say, they're in it, and he'd be happy with some of what he's seen, but maybe certainly a time to inject a bit of life, maybe a Paora Marunga, the talisman.
That's you would so make that move, Will, if you were in charge right now. It's interesting, isn't it? We talked about the haka bubble, the haka effect, and they came out bright and bubbly and really up for it at the start. And now this is when they go through that valley of despair in the middle of these sets. For New Zealand, we've seen a few times, and they haven't necessarily been able to go with the team. They dropped a set 25-11 yesterday, I recall, and just couldn't go in the middle part. So this is something to freshen up, something to spark a bit of life. And whether it's a big one-on-one block or a substitution, you are looking for a moment perhaps of individual brilliance now to maybe rekindle the fires.
That's nice to Nicola. That's worked a few times. Quick attack through the middle. Redpath finding the number 1. Snapping it down. Nice work from Chinese Taipei. New Zealand's unsure of where to go. Park unhappy with himself. 18-15 Chinese Taipei. 19-15 now, 20-15 for the higher ranked side. It's looking pretty shaky for New Zealand.
We've seen Nicklin get blocked one-on-one a couple of times this tournament in that fashion where he's running really chest on, really closing down his options as a middle attacker.
Well, just a little bit too easy for Chinese Taipei at the moment. New Zealand losing a fair bit of shape. Redpath striding up and down the sideline. He calls a timeout, and maybe we will start to see those changes.
Yeah, this is close to his last chance to really affect this first set. So the timeout, probably a good option, considering what his options are. For New Zealand, you know, they've served pretty well. They've stayed in the contest pretty well with the block, but just a few of those times where Chinese Taipei have run a more sophisticated offense. That last one was a good example where the outside hitter came in, ran over the top, a combination play over the top of the quick attack, and neither of the two blockers that need to line up on their play are really committed. I'd rather see a blocker commit than only half commit and not be effective. So, you know, the individuals need to kind of zone in who's my play, who's my job, and not get distracted. So the Kiwis are learning plenty, they're learning it on the fly. They're running out of time.
No substitutions for New Zealand. They'll get it back over. Still they're alive, but never quite in it. Chinese Taipei dominant as they've been. Good fight from New Zealand, but they're struggling to hold on here.
That's what we wanted from Glue. He made a commitment. He took out a part of the court and channeled the spike towards his defensive player. So even if you don't get a block, you're doing a job.
It's good from Timmer. Gets them the serve back. It's been pretty good. Chi for Chinese Taipei. Now's the time for New Zealand, though. Quick attack and well snapped. New Zealand, that block is really struggling to pick up Chinese Taipei's variation and decisive work.
And the difference between the middle blocking technique, he could have put that through about a 45-degree range, that spike. It was really hard to get on his shoulder to block that.
23-17 the score. New Zealand with just about the last roll of the dice in the opening set. Close to 25 wins. And that will not help. It brings up set point for Chinese Taipei. To serve, it will be Yen Shenfu. Well, that's just about indicative of the way the set's gone. New Zealand scrapping hard, but not good enough to put any real pressure on Chinese Taipei. They take the first set, 25-17. Welcome back to Canberra for this men's World Championship Asian Volleyball Confederation qualifier between Chinese Taipei and New Zealand. It is day number 3 of the tournament. Chinese Taipei were much better than New Zealand in that opening set. Their class really was on show.
Just more options and just a bit more structure. You know, for the Kiwis, I think their blocking is something that they probably need to work on. Their attack was pretty good. We saw some nice attacking by guys like Daryl Lewis, for example. We talked about him a bit. Timmer was okay. Glue needs to probably be a bit more active. But we'll see a lot of really effective blocking from Chinese Taipei, which has given them opportunities everywhere. The Kiwis were sort of picked apart a few too many times.
Yeah, they worked really hard, New Zealand, in a lot of occasions like that where they're just fighting to be in the point, and they made the most of a few of the opportunities. But Chinese Taipei, the world number 33 ranked side, just a little bit too strong and without being at their best.
Should make interesting reading the statistics. You know, tell a tale of more errors, particularly from New Zealand. They're being put under more pressure, but again, the blocks 3-0. You know, New Zealand had a couple of moments yesterday. They got a couple of good one-on-one stuffs. They just haven't got working to put up that solid kind of defensive wall. And we talked about it, Will. Getting a stuff block is not the only job you need to do. If you just take out a part of the court in your role as a blocker, it makes the jobs of the other 5 people on court just that little bit easier. Sometimes they just didn't go up at all, or they went half up. Really hard to set a defensive structure around.
Yeah, the Chinese Taipei setup in Shi Sui Chai, certainly performing very well. And New Zealand got Jake Darling onto the court, into the rotation, so a lot of height coming in there for the Kiwis. 206 centimetres, Jake Darling. Let's see what he can do. Maybe he can boost that block for New Zealand. Second set underway. Service with Jack Redpath. Lewis got it up, but Thomas Reid, the libero, unable to run it down. It goes up to the other side of the advertising boardings here at the AIS Arena in Canberra. And Chinese Taipei 1-0. Captain to serve. That's a lovely swing from Timmer. Tung, the libero for Chinese Taipei, was there, protecting the line, but just a bit too much on it. And nice work from Timmer down the line. It was a good set from Redpath. Timmer did the rest. Now up to serve. Got a hit from Uru. Dialed it in. Cross court and had plenty on it. Off the defence, and for another point for Chinese Taipei. Lovely swing. Decent shape on the block from New Zealand. Made him go cross court. Makes it hard for Glue. Oh, tough from Chinese Taipei. Getting each other's way. And Lewis makes them pay.
So it's interesting for Coach Redpath from New Zealand. He's made that change that you mentioned there, Will, and bringing on the 11 in Jake Darling. 206 centimetres, absolutely the tallest human on their squad. So I think that's a response less about an attack option, more about a blocking option. Try and stiffen up the block.
A quick attack through the middle from Chinese Taipei has been causing New Zealand all sorts of issues, and the sweetheart of the New Zealand side, Jake Darling, can do nothing from the service line on that occasion. Big serve from Wu. Lovely stuff from Chinese Taipei. Heat from the moment it left his hand. Big serve from Wu, but this time New Zealand watch it sail long. Early stages here of this second set. The score is 4-3 in favour of Chinese Taipei.
Other interesting piece of work that the New Zealand coach has decided. He's now using both his liberos. They're interchanging offensively and defensively, so he's also looking for a little something extra in defence as well.
Blue is blocked, but it goes out. Point for New Zealand.
All credit to Lewis again. Daryl Lewis at the 12, well out of position in position 4 to get the block. He puts up one hand, gets a little touch off the block. I'm not sure we went too late, but he actually just got something up there and got a little touch on the ball. So already New Zealand look a little more solid at the net. Couple in a row.
Oh, dear. Their block was better, as you say, but smarts from Chinese Taipei.
They zoned out. They were off having croissants and coffee, I think, at the end there, and just ignored the front court setter dumping the ball. That's a shame after a couple of good blocks in a row.
Lewis again, he can hit a volleyball. While it hasn't always been the prettiest, it's often been effective from Lewis.
No, he's absolutely their go-to guy at the moment. He's not going too badly. They need others to support him though. It does become a little one-dimensional if he's becoming obviously their pressure reliever.
That did happen a few times in that opening set. It just went to him every time, and he got a lot of work in that opening set, and a bit of fatigue starting to creep in. Lengthy right arm from Lewis. Service error. Gives Chinese Taipei the lead. It'll be level on the back of another one of those. 6-all.
Not unlike the first set, Will, we saw it kind of 7-all, 8-all, 9-all, 10-all. The middle part of the set, New Zealand lost their way and they were never going to catch Chinese Taipei. So this is the point where they've got to focus and work on how do we get a lead? How do we not only stick with Chinese Taipei, but get bunches of points? That gentleman, though, has been really good for all of his matches. Chen, the captain, 188 centimetres, so not a huge man, but just really solid and technically really sound.
Nice hit off the block. Good work from Wu. New Zealand bringing Benjamin Glue into things, but the defence of Chinese Taipei and some strong work from Tung, the libero, gets them to the technical timeout. 8-6 the lead.
So again, there or thereabouts in the first set, I think 8-7 was the technical timeout scoreline. So New Zealand starting solid. A couple of little changes in favour of them in terms of what Colin Redpath, the coach, has done. They just stiffen up their block a bit. I like that. They've got some good touches. It's now back to Chinese Taipei to kind of respond.
New Zealand will come back out, changed. And both sides, as you alluded to, rotating the liberos and just using their varied strengths. Lewis on court for New Zealand at the moment. Tong out there for Chinese Taipei. It was a great set from him. Point prior to that technical timeout from deep in his own court. She to serve. Good up from Glue. Not such a good up from Redpath. The setting error from him.
Such a pity, because when you're Glue and you're the athlete that's got that really great up, you get this boost of adrenaline and you want the setter to set you the next ball because you're going to rip the cover off it, but it was kind of, all the air was let out of the balloon by the double touch. That was a shame.
They needed that, New Zealand. A couple of points in succession for Chinese Taipei, and Johan Timmer didn't unleash completely. Saw that the block was a little bit slow. And, nice work from him. An important point. Good desperation from Thomas Reid, the New Zealand libero, but Chen, when he winds up and is on song, he's pretty hard to stop.
That's why we don't have permanent signage around these courts for that very reason. You're allowed to use any part of your body. You can use your feet, any part you can to try and get that ball back into play, not on this occasion.
Big serve from Chen, and great work from New Zealand to keep it alive. Timmer and also Smith. Then the block from New Zealand, but it sails wide.
Wouldn't you have loved to have seen that block from New Zealand really work on that occasion? That would have lifted the team.
Yeah.
They're those little moments, though. I like the things I'm seeing from New Zealand, running through signage, running over to the bench, getting the ball back into play. You know, it shows that the desperation and the intensity is starting to lift for the Kiwis.
Well watched. Point for New Zealand. Chen just getting a little bit big on that one. And as always, New Zealand are enjoying themselves out here. Big serve from Timmer. Good up. Chinese Taipei. And to kill.
Not a great place to be if you are Thomas Reid. He's playing short in position 5. They're on the line. The block kind of faded in court, and he was really exposed to that hard-driven ball, so could have really done some damage to him.
All of this helps New Zealand. Chinese Taipei unable to get a real run on. Tempo being denied as Hank Darling is to the line. Plenty of service errors, both sides guilty. And it does is the look to really just suck that momentum out of things. Come on, red path.
He's not had the best run of it with the officials.
He's got a yellow
tech,
card as well.
And there's a yellow time-wasting card on him. He'll be filthy. He feels he's adequately requested administrative assistance.
Because at the same time as I blew the whistle is when that happens.
We seem to spend more time fixing the
Yeah,
paperwork.
No, it is. It's delay, according to the rules.
So he's been given a delay warning, a yellow card for delay. But we waste more time explaining it than the alleged offence that was the time wasting. That is a bit of a bind for first referee Rob Zablowski.
Clever from Nicklin. Another good up from New Zealand. They're not the sharpest of digs, but they're keeping the ball alive. And Nicklin, a bit early, just poked it over.
Good presence, good vision to realise that the set wasn't really there to be wailed on.
They got away with one there, New Zealand.
They really did, didn't they? Again, the block just absolutely zoned out on the back row attack. Nobody, you're basically half of your team might as well not be there because they're not blocking, they're not playing defence. They really have to keep mentally alert to all of the spike options.
You could hear Thomas Reid pleading for help. He knew that it wasn't going to be the smoothest ball. Backwards and forwards we continue to go. 14-11 the score.
And see, that was better. All three blockers from New Zealand participated, and even at a subconscious level, the Chinese Taipei attacker is seeing that he's actually got to deal with something, goes for the dump and gets it wrong. Here is a moment you've been looking forward to, Will.
Oh, and everybody watching right around the volleyball world. A setting change for New Zealand. Maora Marunga has come into proceedings. Serve with Lewis. Good up from Chinese Taipei. And a big block. There's Marunga and Nicklin. The big fella, 115 kegs, gets the job done.
Where's he been? Where's he been? Absolutely floating and just demolishing. We've not seen a kill block all match for the Kiwis. You get your wish, the big setter comes on, leads the way.
That's a shame. Got up to 13-14 New Zealand. And Marunga is coming on. But you've spoken about the need to shore up that block, and at 195 centimetres, he can do that.
He's bringing a lot to the game when he comes on, but young Redpath replaces him. To the dismay of some.
It's an issue for both sides of the service at the moment, but they're giving it a chance.
But interestingly, at this midpoint of the set, New Zealand are much closer than they've been, so they are competing, they are lifting, their intensity is better, their block is better. So that was a winner, but two athletes got hands on it. So often that ball can pop up. You know, that's a good way to lose a point, I guess.
16 points to 14, the lead for Chinese Taipei at the second technical timeout. So chance for New Zealand to pause and reflect, and Colin Redpath to try and work out what he needs to change here. Look at Chinese Taipei still, they're not at the top of their game, but their experience and class is winning through. Ever so slightly though.
Yeah, New Zealand are holding them to account in a much better fashion in the second set. Still one or two signs of them just sort of clocking off early when they think they've decided where the attack's coming from. And it is a more sophisticated structure, a faster attacking structure from Chinese Taipei, and the lateral movement. You know, these Kiwi athletes, they're tall and they're strong, but they're being really tested on their side-to-side skills. So that is something they've just got to try and work on.
Tim has been good. He really has. And they're starting to use him a little bit more. Redpath with a good set to the big number 7. And 16-15 the score.
A bit of a substitution, 18 coming off the setter. Sui Chi Shi, the 18 comes off. So a little bit of a change, a little bit of a lineup reset for Chinese Taipei.
And straight into it from Tai, the setter. Good set down the middle.
So they don't seem to have lost anything by changing setters.
Who gets the point? Well, it's been called in.
He was adamant that it was out, but I reckon that call is spot on. I can't believe he was.
He's certainly making a case.
Ooh. Of course, the Chinese Taipei athlete believed it was in, so, you know. Who do you believe? Why can't we all get along?
There's plenty of that up here as we watch New Zealand get the point off the service area. Johan Timmer has been good. He's back to serve. How they'd love a run of big, booming jump serves from him. There's one. From Reed. Oh, Timmer. Just trying to keep it alive and rolling it deep. A little bit too deep from Johan Timmer.
Yeah, these are the little moments that become big moments as the score creeps on for your opposition. They've gone with them, they've gone with them. New Zealand haven't in any set of this tournament been able to get to that 20-point barrier. That seems to be kind of where they break down. They need to compete deeper and deeper into the sets. And this is, again, without sounding like I'm harping, this is where they start to unravel at this point of the set.
And it can get away from you so quickly. A couple of errors, a few missed attacks, and you look up and you're 4 or 5 down as the opposition hits that 20-point mark and heads start to drop. That will not help.
Just the hands causing a bit of a problem. As the libero, you've got to do better than that, and timeout will be called by Coach Redpath. And what was a kind of a neck-and-neck battle, all of a sudden a 5-point margin looks close to insurmountable at this stage of the second set.
And it's a shame for New Zealand if they can't peg this back, because as we've touched on and you very accurately pointed out, Jonathan, they have been going well to stay with some stronger opposition. They had Australia on night 1, and a couple of times they stuck with them, but then got blown out towards the end, and it doesn't make good reading when you look back from a purely score perspective. And last night against Japan, that second set, they were really good and pushing Japan, forcing some errors, but once more Japan able to push away and take what looks on paper when you look back at it as a pretty easy 3-0 win. Chinese Taipei are on the way to a 2-love lead in this one. Blue with a big swing.
Can't help think that he's a guy that's got to get him moving forward, got to fire him up a bit. That sort of 18 points is the most they've scored in a set. This is their 7th set of volleyball in this tournament, so they've got to find a way to go beyond that 17, 18 point barrier. Yeah, that's hard to stop.
Yeah, very crisp from Liu. And I mean, Groundhog Day, hey, that middle attack to New Zealand's block, it's just not reading it. Tai now, the replacement setter, certainly continuing the work that she was doing. Wu into the net.
All right, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Here's their chance. Let's get point 19. Let's get point 20. Let's get a good serve. Blockers pick out who's doing what. Where is the setter for Chinese Taipei? It's got to go to the back set. A little bit extravagant. So there you go. That's already now rare air for New Zealand. Can they get to 20? All these things are baby steps, but important building blocks to bring a squad up to the next level. Oh, shame. Redpath, the setter, in the net. The pickup in defence was great. What a shame.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Chinese Taipei wastes no time. Nicklin, good work from him, and really good defence from Chinese Taipei. Get it back. And a decent block, but it'll bounce out towards the technical officials' bench. New Zealand hanging around.
All right, the 20-point barrier. They've gotten to that important psychological score point. Can they push beyond it? Can they get a couple in a row? The second set is alive if they want it to be.
Big serve from Lewis. Brings about point 21 for New Zealand. They're within 2. And if you're going to choose any man at this point to be at the service line, Lewis is him.
100%. He is absolutely the guy. And look at that. New Zealand have forced the coach of Chinese Taipei, Yu Qingfang, into the first kind of defensive, reactive timeout that he's had to face so far in this match. So that's better. Building, building, building all the time.
And with only 2 spots in the World Championships in Italy and Bulgaria next year, and Australia and Japan so far having 3-0 wins, the Chinese Taipei to keep that 3-0 scoreline would be a bit of a focus from them.
Absolutely, and remember, we're playing a tournament. This match very important, but in the broader landscape of the bigger event, all those little things, they are considering that. If we drop a set here, we're almost done for. We must win this set. So all sorts of mental and psychological and scoreboard pressure on Chinese Taipei. So New Zealand just keep chipping away. A point here is a really interesting turn of events. Can he get a big serve going?
There it is from Lewis. Good up. Oh, Blue, just a little bit wild. That is a shame, and it brings up set point for Chinese Taipei. A couple of wry smiles from them. Now on the verge of a 2 sets to love lead. Liu Hongjae to serve. Blue not being helped. Free ball. Chinese Taipei. New Zealand keep it alive. Oh, and dumped over from Tai. That's twice in the set New Zealand have been exploited, and twice in this match Chinese Taipei have taken a set. They lead 2-love after a 25-21 second set win. Welcome back to Canberra. It's a 2-0 lead for Chinese Taipei, the 33rd ranked side in the world, up against New Zealand, the world number 50s. Chinese Taipei getting the job done, 25-17 in the opening set, and then here in the second, 25-21 for Jonathan Fogarty. It was a much improved New Zealand performance, and they were staying with them.
Absolutely. I liked how Coach Ian Redpath made some adjustments. Particularly, we talked about the blocking needed to stiffen up after the first set. He did that. He got a better performance. And then, no surprise that other aspects of the game free up and get better. They made some good defensive pickups because they've got a better structure. They started to transition some balls, started to spike a bit better. Why? Because they are now stretching the opposition. So Chinese Taipei still found another gear when they needed to, but, you know, for New Zealand, they're going to look at that, and they were beat down in their first set the other day, 25-11 against Japan. But they've come back now, 25-21 is a vastly better improvement.
And that was a pretty cruel way for New Zealand to concede the set. The Chinese Taipei certainly on top, and yeah, it was pretty level. Plenty of them.
And as the blocking stats tighten up, you know, the errors tighten up as well, and it means New Zealand are competing, you know, in every aspect. They didn't really clock off. There was one or two times that front court setter absolutely pulled their pants down twice. That can happen. It means that they maybe have gone to sleep a little bit on him being in the front court, but, you know, much better signs. The Kiwis mixed it up a bit. We'll be interested to see if he goes pretty much with the same side. Yeah, it doesn't look to be any real changes. So I like the use of the two liberos has kind of kept them sharp. So better signs. Can New Zealand build on that? Maybe get a set locked away.
Back in for Chinese Taipei, the starting set at Shi Sui Chi. And Tai Lu Shen takes a break. Start of the third set. On blue from a mile back, but approached on that court line.
Not quite far enough, sorry.
Yeah.
He got really close to it in the second set, so that'll disappoint in his first kill of the set, taken away from him.
Chinese Taipei concede the point. Nice work on the block from New Zealand.
Yeah, unusually Chinese Taipei kind of begging for a net touch on the athlete. Ooh, maybe he had a case. Maybe he had a case.
A little bit of a snap of the wrist from Yan Shanfu. Chinese Taipei leading early here in the second set. Yan getting some advice from Liu. All as well at the net for Chinese Taipei. Timmer. The big swing from him. He's been good. Redpath finding him pretty solidly. New Zealand level it up at 2, and it'll be interesting to see how Chinese Taipei react if New Zealand can get a little run on and take a 3 or 4 point lead. Haven't been playing from behind as yet here today. Called out.
Just missed.
New Zealand.
That's the toughest call for the Lions judge to make, that far corner. They're looking down literally 18 metres into the corner with athletes running across their field of vision. That's actually a tough call.
Again, Blue doesn't get the service he perhaps wants. They try and keep it alive. Darling and Blue on the block, but again, clever hitting from Liu, and he gets the job done. Just hits it into the block, and separation between that and the net. Oh, wow. He made the most of that, Lewis. That is a great swing from him.
Yeah, once again, he's been their outstanding attacker. Tim has been good. The middle attack hasn't been effective. They need to really get these big Kiwi units through the middle fired up. There's an opportunity.
shame for the Kiwis. They hung in there. Made it dirty on a couple of occasions, but Chinese Taipei still firepower and smarts to get the point. Free ball for New Zealand. Lewis, man, they go to and wide, wouldn't you? The way he's hitting the ball, yielding points.
And that's a really good example. When they get that free ball, they take it on the hands to quicken that attack up. They have a competent enough offense to pick apart a team like Chinese Taipei. They just haven't had that many of those opportunities.
Big block from Lewis and Nicklin. That's what you've been calling for, Jonathan. Good organisation, and they tied up at 5.
Only about the second or third kill block they've got for the match, if my memory serves, so more of those, but it's good signs. Can they back it up with a good serve? Well, and Lady Luck smiles on New Zealand on that occasion.
She reaching over. Referee's wise to that. Here it is. Just have no rights to that ball. Blue again. A cute serve that he's favoured a few times where he just tries and floats it ever so gently over the net. He's come unstuck there, Glue.
No margin for error at all.
Nicklin not getting all of that. For Chinese Taipei, but denied. Again, Lewis, everywhere he goes at the moment, he's making something happen. And New Zealand, 7-6 they lead. Monster block, this one.
Well, really good signs. The whole unit came together, and technically solid blocking to see the 3 athletes from New Zealand not overreaching, all doing their job much better.
Free ball for New Zealand. Lewis, just a little bit overextended.
Gosh, they're the moments, aren't they?
He's reaching for it, Lewis. Understandably, Redpath goes to the man in hot form. And with Liu, Chinese Taipei. Chen with authority. Wasn't pretty from New Zealand. They stayed alive until Chen had his way with them, and they go into the first technical timeout here in the third set, leading by 1 Chinese Taipei. And unfortunately for the Kiwis, Jonathan, they've had a 1-point lead on a couple of occasions. They've not been able to go away with it.
Yeah, again, and you know, it's a similar tale of the first 2 sets. 8-7, 8-6 have been the scores of the first technical timeout, so they've had no trouble starting and competing at the early start of the set. In the last set, they actually came good again towards the back end of the set, but kind of feel that sort of middle patch. They kind of zone out. So for Coach Redpath, he'll be talking to the guys about really retaining your focus. So let's see if they can come out and craft a lead. You know, they haven't really put enough scoreboard pressure on Chinese Taipei from the perspective of having them catch up. So that would be nice to see.
And they need to keep working really hard, New Zealand. Chinese Taipei are a good enough side that they'll just casually go about their business and know that they've got the arsenal to win the match. Timmer from out wide and off the net, fires it past the block. Good work from New Zealand. Got to keep working hard. There is a substitution coming. How about that for a swing from Timmer? As we come back from the replay. The man, the myth, the legend, Giles Black. The hair from over there is on the court. Nicklin serves. Lead, gets it up to Chen. And Glue went for the pancake. A little bit of a shrug of the shoulders from him. Chinese Taipei 9-8.
I think a reasonable call. It's interesting bringing Black on at this stage. He's given up a lot of height by sending Darling back out onto the bench. So what has been a bit of a strength in the last set and a half, that height, sort of traded that in for that X factor. So is this kind of a desperate roll of the dice from Ian Redpath, or is he see an opportunity for Giles Black to get involved?
Oh, well, let's give that one to Giles Black, the old fakie. Half went up, half didn't. No one knows what he's going to do, and allows New Zealand the opportunity. Oh, that's vintage from Giles Black and Timmer. He's had some nice moments.
Constant pressure is such a commodity. He was not able to apply it. One captain for the other captain. Here he is. Great save from Redpath.
Really nice. Wu has been far too good on a number of occasions. Going to have to do more to put pressure on him than that. Really nice kill from him.
Dong Chuen Wu, nice cross-court sharp angle.
Another big serve from Chen, and gets the point for Chinese Taipei. He enjoyed that one, and they're out by 3. Yet again, he's making things happen. 4 points, the margin now for Chinese Taipei. Couple of despondent looks from New Zealand, and that same assuredness on the faces of Chinese Taipei. Chen, a little bit fatigued perhaps. Nice little run from him though. New Zealand, now's the time for them to make a charge at this third set. Taipei, and Lewis capitalises.
That was an important rally for them to execute on. They got the free ball. They did a nice job of executing on it. So few opportunities Chinese Taipei have given them. That was an opportunity, and they made the most of it.
Ooh, great vision and judgment from Lee, the Chinese Taipei libero. Only on the serve from Timmer. Astute judgment, Chinese Taipei. To serve. Puts it in. Lewis just has to push it back. The triple block from New Zealand is beaten by Liu. Down the line of Redpath for the point.
Yeah, not Daryl Lewis's best play. If he had his time again, the really high dump in the middle of the court that was easily handled. Deep corner is maybe a better option if you're going to go that high and soft, but easy from here.
Again, the set doesn't do him any favours, and he winds up and belts it into row C here at the AIS Arena in Canberra. 16-11 at the second technical timeout. And again, Chinese Taipei push away.
The middle part of the set again has really been the Achilles heel of the boys from New Zealand. They've competed 8-6, 8-7, and then they've just let 2 points to 1 leak away. And in this rally scoring format, every time the ball is served, someone gets a point. It's really hard to peg back a lead. So, you know, 5 points again is certainly enough for Chinese Taipei to run away with it. So for New Zealand now, they've had 2 losses on the trot. They've played every day. They haven't had a break yet. They've got to find something, dig deep. Or this match will be over and really, really quickly.
And this is match number 3 of 4 for New Zealand. They lost 3-0 against Australia, 3-0 against Japan. They have tomorrow off in terms of matches and finish with Thailand on Sunday. Doesn't get any easier for New Zealand. That's an error from Giles Black. Got a little bit big on him. Yen to serve for Chinese Taipei. Lewis again. Love to see his scoring stats at some point, not just tonight but for the tournament. He's having a great couple of days. Darryl Lewis, 22 years old, making his mark here on the international stage. Charles Black. Can't get the job done. All smiles for Chinese Taipei. They are quickly working their way to a 3-0 lead. 3-0 win, rather. It's a big serve, well handled by Timmer. Lewis just getting a little bit big on him. He's not all that thrilled with himself.
I think a fairly hopeful request for a touch from the Lions judges. That was well over the block, so Ian Redpath responds. 19-12, they've really skipped away, as you said, Will, in this midsection. It's descending quickly into a training exercise for Chinese Taipei.
That's very, very wishful from Lewis. I wasn't quite sure what he was asking for.
That is a desperate plea from a desperate man. And he's been really good. You know, we should focus on the positive. Darryl Lewis has been really, really solid.
Yes. Happy belts out around the AIS arena. Great dance moves coming from this small but very engaged crowd. Had a feast of volleyball here in Canberra this week, and it only continues. The end of this match will bring us to the halfway point of this World Championships qualification tournament. Chinese Taipei looking for win number 1 of their campaign. Big serve and an ace coming from Wu. Lewis just drops his head. He hasn't had a great time of it in the past couple of points, and he will be given a spell. Coming on is Tom Hartles.
Looking for a little bit of stability in the serve reception. This is a very, very solid left-handed jump serve. Zhongxuan Wu. He's going to throw this ball into the rafters.
And a rare win for Glue. He hasn't had a great day attacking from out wide. On this occasion, though, gets the job done. And we'll have some substitutions for Chinese Taipei. Tai comes on. And so too does Lee. Starting centre, Shi will have a spell. And so too Wu, who's been very good. And so we have time for a substitution for New Zealand. We certainly do. And always happy to make time for this man, Peora Marunga. Look at the smile. He led the haka pre-game, and he'll try and lead them to what would be quite a remarkable comeback here in the third set.
He has got such a nice on-court demeanour. I reckon he brings a lot to this squad of intangibles, so let's see what he can do.
Good up, and there is Marunga. And Glue into the net. Marunga does lead them in so many ways. Brightens everybody's mood here in Canberra when he's up and about. Marunga, they need him, and they need plenty of him. 8 points the margin. Marunga to Nicklin, and that is effective. You said earlier, Jonathan, we haven't seen the middle attack much from New Zealand, but when we do, Nicklin hasn't made much of a mistake at all.
Yeah, and it's meant that the middle blocker for Chinese Taipei has been able to kind of zone out a little bit on that play and be stronger on the outside or the back row attack from New Zealand. So more of that is required. Here's an opportunity. Oh, Timmer gets monstered. A big clam jam from the Chinese Taipei block. Just absolutely destroying that. Brings up point number 22, 22-14. This could get out of hand very, very quickly. Just checking the paperwork again. We seem to keep having these little delays where the rotation or the substitution.
Chinese Taipei coach Yu Qingfang, understandably, all smiles and giggles from him.
Look at him. Oh, he's having a ball.
Marching on to win number 1. They did have yesterday off. They'll play Thailand tomorrow evening and then finish off with a match against Japan on Sunday. A couple of stern tests for Chinese Taipei to come. New Zealand, the lowest ranked side in this World Championship qualification tournament. As we still wait to make sure that everybody is where they should be and all of the systems are working.
First referee Rob Zadowski having a laugh with your boy, big Peora Moronga, still smiling. Rotation, saying, here we go. Now he's dancing. The Kiwi coach can't help but see the funny side. Even he is slow hand clapping now over on the Kiwi bench because they got, here we go. This is a dance of a different kind from New Zealand. Not culturally known for their Zorba the Greek dancing, the Kiwi boys, but...
Well, they need to switch on. They are trailing by 8. There is still time to make their mark on this third set. That is a gift.
Well, who is it that lost their focus, I wonder?
Another substitution for Chinese Taipei. The skipper, Chen comes off, and party atmosphere continues here at the AIS Arena in Canberra. New Zealand with it all to do. 7 points the deficit. Lani Nicklin. There it is, Chinese Taipei within 2 of a 3-0 win. 23-15 the margin. Leave it in your capable hands, Jonathan Fogarty.
Substitution, Darling will come back on. Giles Black comes off, so again, just looking for a little bit of height, a little bit of extra power above the net. He's at Chinese Taipei, only 2 rallies away from wrapping up this match though. Oh, Timmer explodes cross-court. That's more like it. New Zealand leaving their run really late though. Peora Moronga comes off. Jack Redpath comes back on. 16-23, the Kiwis need a minor miracle, it must be said. Chinese Taipei only 2 good actions away from wrapping up this match. Redpath. Ah, what a pity. The Kiwi boys in the net will bring up a set and match point for Chinese Taipei. Coach Yu Qingfang looks quite pleased because it is match point Chinese Taipei. And that, unfortunately, will be that. Chinese Taipei victorious in this match. 25-17, 25-21, 25-16 over a gallant but ultimately unsuccessful New Zealand. But a match played in wonderful spirit. Chinese Taipei, ultimately though, a little bit more classy, few too many more options. And a well-won match for Chinese Taipei. New Zealand will lose no admirers for the manner in which they play the game. But for Coach Redpath and his team, it is back to the drawing board. They'll get a break. They'll come out and play their last match. See if they can get something on the board to take back to New Zealand.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being nice and early. What a great start to day number 3 of match 5.
See the lads from Chinese Taipei look well pleased. They look sprightly. They needed to win this match. They've got to stay in contention. They want to get one of those 2 spots to the Men's World Championship in Italy and Bulgaria. And winning that match 3-0 was one of the things they had to do. So they are still absolutely in this tournament. They are still up for a chance. We are going to head down courtside, and Will is standing by to talk to the captain of New Zealand in Benjamin Glue.
New Zealand skipper Benjamin Glue, it's been a tough couple of days in terms of the result, but it looks like you're having a huge amount of fun. How are you enjoying the tournament?
We're loving it, eh? It's an awesome opportunity for us. It doesn't come along very often. Like, we're a team of builders and teachers, and so, you know, we're having a great time here and trying to give it a good nudge, and, you know, appreciate all the support we've had from the crowd here.
We've been enjoying watching the way you've gone about it. You've been in a few sets as well against much higher ranked opposition. How far away do you feel like you are from getting one of those elusive set wins in the tournament?
Oh, man, I feel like we can't beat them, eh? Like, we're just getting, like, we're point for point most of the time, and just at the end of the sets, we're just losing it. So I have a lot of confidence in our next game against Thailand. Hopefully we can put on a bit of performance, but yeah, happy with the boys.
And in terms of the opportunity to come together and play at one of these, I guess, bigger international tournaments, how beneficial is that for volleyball in New Zealand?
Oh, it's massive, eh? Like, these opportunities don't come along very much for us, so yeah, it's awesome. We've got the opportunity to be here, and the boys have earned it too. So yeah, I'm really excited for our next game too.
Well, we're loving watching you, Benjamin. Good luck against Thailand, and yeah, we'll keep enjoying the way you go about it.
Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, cheers.
Well, there you have the very affable face of New Zealand men's volleyball, Benjamin Glue, their captain. Builders and teachers, well, they were building some pressure throughout the course of this match on Chinese Taipei. Here are some of the highlights. They had their moments. Their block got better and better, and they asked a few questions of Chinese Taipei, but this will be a nice three-man wall. There was too few of those, unfortunately. He was quite good, though. Hats off to Daryl Lewis, who was very, very solid, but it was some of the big guns for Chinese Taipei who really shone. The captain, as always, the number 19, Jin Shen Chen, who was very, very good. The 10 was excellent as well in Zhong Xuan Wu. He was very, very solid. So all-round solid performance by Chinese Taipei, a team ranked many places higher than New Zealand at 33 in the world over New Zealand's 50. So on form and on paper, the result you expected, 3 sets to love. No surprises then to see Chinese Taipei run out winners, 3 sets to love in that match. Well, I hope you've enjoyed what was a really interesting match. Let's have a look at the stats now. 2 aces to Chinese Taipei. More attacks from New Zealand, which shows absolutely much more positivity, but the errors ultimately were what killed them. 16 errors to 5. Very, very hard to win a set. Indeed, a match of volleyball at this level when you make 3 times as many errors as your opposition. So there it is, the tale of the tape. Chinese Taipei ultimately too good over a gallant and affable New Zealand. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. On behalf of my co-commentator Will Davies, I'm Jonathan Fogarty. We will see you next time when the Men's World Championship qualifier continues right here in Canberra.